Ethan Hale lay in silence, the world around him blurred and distant, as if he were trapped between two realities. A harsh white light pierced the fog in his mind, dragging him reluctantly upward from the darkness. His body felt foreign, every limb heavy and unresponsive as though it no longer belonged to him. Sounds reached him faintly, footsteps echoing on the floor, the low beep of a monitor, muffled voices floating through the sterile air, but none seemed real. He tried to move his lips to speak but no sound emerged. He twitched a finger and a sharp ache raced through his arm. Trapped, he realized, between wakefulness and oblivion he was powerless. Then came the sharp, decisive click of heels on the floor. A familiar fragrance drifted through the room and Ethan's heart clenched. Vanessa Clark, his wife of 2 months, stepped into the light, her voice soft but precise. "I'm here now. He's stable, for now." Each word struck him like ice. He tried to open his eyes, but instinct held him still, forcing him to listen. Then he heard the words that made his blood run cold. "The insurance policy, $15 million. If he doesn't wake, how soon can the company's shares be transferred? And the child? Boarding school far away. Not my concern." A rush of disbelief and fury surged through him. The sweetness in her voice moments later was a cruel mask, concealing intentions colder than steel. She leaned close, pretending concern, while inside Ethan's world shattered. Every beat of the heart monitor mirrored the pounding of his thoughts. The plan was clear: gain everything, spare nothing. And yet, he had to survive, he had to fight, even if it meant pretending to be unconscious, absorbing every sinister detail. The storm that night, the crash, the betrayals, it was all coming together, a puzzle he would solve from the shadows. Ethan's mind raced as Vanessa left the room, her footsteps fading like distant thunder. The sterile silence of the ICU returned, punctuated only by the rhythmic beeping of the monitors. He drew a shallow breath, careful not to betray that he was awake. Every muscle in his body screamed with pain, yet he forced himself to remain still, observing, listening, memorizing. The betrayal in Vanessa's words had ignited a fire he didn't know he had left. Memories of the crash surged back, vivid and unrelenting. Rain hammered the highway, blinding his vision, twisting metal crumpled around him, and the world had ended in a heartbeat. And now, lying here, he realized the danger wasn't just the accident, it was the people closest to him. The thought of Emma, his daughter, being sent away as if she were a burden, tightened his chest with a painful urgency. He had to protect her no matter the cost. A faint creak from the door made him tense. Dr. Marcus Reed, his longtime friend and physician, stepped in, concern etched across his face. Ethan seized the moment. With painstaking effort, he whispered just enough for Marcus to hear. "I'm awake. Everything Vanessa said, I heard it all." The doctor froze, understanding the gravity, and nodded. Ethan's plan began to crystallize. He would continue to play the fragile patient, but inside he was already planning his next move. The storm had passed outside, but inside Ethan, a new storm was rising. One that would expose secrets, punish betrayal, and protect the ones he loved most. Ethan lay motionless, letting the machines do the work of keeping him alive, while his mind raced faster than ever. The ICU felt like a prison, sterile and suffocating, yet it was the perfect stage for the plan forming in his mind. He replayed Vanessa's words over and over, each syllable sharpening his resolve. She wanted everything: money, control, even his daughter, but she had underestimated him. Fragments of memories from before the accident surfaced, moments of laughter with Emma, Anna's gentle smile, the warmth of a home that had once been filled with love. The contrast with the cold betrayal he had just witnessed ignited a new determination. Ethan realized survival wasn't enough. He had to uncover the truth, expose the deceit, and protect his family. Every second counted, and the longer he remained unconscious, the more opportunities he would have to gather intelligence. A nurse entered quietly, checking the monitors and murmuring softly about medications. Ethan forced himself to remain still, feeling the sharp sting of isolation. He could almost sense Vanessa plotting elsewhere, confident he remained oblivious. But in that quiet room Ethan was far from powerless. His mind, sharp and alert, mapped out every move, every conversation, every secret he needed to uncover. The storm outside the hospital had passed, but inside him, a new storm raged, silent, patient, and deadly. Every breath he took, every twitch he suppressed, was a step toward reclaiming his life, protecting Emma, and turning betrayal into justice. Ethan's mind raced with every detail he had overheard, his pulse synchronized with the beeping monitors as if they were accomplices in his silent plan. Vanessa's betrayal weighed on him like chains, but instead of breaking him, it sharpened his focus. Every word she had spoken, every cold calculation, was now a weapon in his hands. He had to be patient, invisible, yet everywhere at once in his own life. The door creaked again and a maid entered, carrying a tray of medications. She moved quietly, unaware of Ethan's awareness, humming softly as if the room were ordinary. Then, without looking directly at him, she muttered words that froze him. "I've seen everything, what she's planning with the will, and the shares." Ethan's heart thudded, not with fear but with an electrifying surge of hope. The unexpected ally could change everything. He forced himself to remain still, the mask of unconsciousness perfect, while every neuron in his brain raced to connect the pieces. Vanessa believed she had control, believed he was helpless, but she had no idea the storm she had unleashed inside him. He imagined the confrontation ahead, not brute force but strategy, revelation, and justice. For Emma, for the legacy he wanted to protect, for every truth buried under lies, Ethan's silence had become his most powerful weapon. The maid's words lingered, a spark in the dark, igniting the plan that would turn betrayal into exposure, deception into justice. Ethan's pulse steadied as the maid left the room, her whispered words echoing in his mind like a secret code only he could decipher. Every detail she had revealed added fuel to the fire burning inside him. Vanessa's meticulous plan, the insurance, the company shares, even Emma's fate. He now had a clear map of the treachery surrounding him. And yet, he remained frozen, a perfect mask of helplessness, while plotting every move in silence. Hours passed, each one stretching like an eternity, but Ethan's mind never wavered. He envisioned every encounter, every conversation, every lie Vanessa had spun around him. The betrayal had cut deep, but it had also sharpened his instincts. He realized the strength he had gained through pain and loss. Anna's memory, Emma's innocent trust, was now a weapon more powerful than any rage or fear. A soft knock at the door broke his reverie. It was Marcus, his friend and doctor, checking in again, unaware of the silent storm brewing within Ethan. The perfect moment to test his resolve, to plan the next steps without exposing his awareness. Ethan's lips twitched ever so slightly, almost imperceptible, as if to remind himself that control was power. The room, the hospital, the quiet, it all belonged to him now. Every secret Vanessa had tried to bury would surface, and every betrayal would be repaid with careful precision. The storm outside had ended, but the one inside Ethan was just beginning, fierce, patient, and unstoppable. Ethan felt a surge of clarity as he lay still, every muscle locked in place, every thought razor-sharp. The betrayal, the lies, the cold calculations, he absorbed them all, letting them fuel a plan that was bigger than revenge. It was about justice, truth, and protecting Emma. Vanessa thought he was weak, broken, trapped, but she had underestimated the power of patience and awareness. Later that evening, the maid returned quietly, glancing around before leaning close. "I've kept records, every conversation, every move she made. You need to see this," she whispered. Ethan's heart raced, a mix of relief and determination. The information she provided was explosive, enough to turn the tables completely. He realized that sometimes, survival wasn't about strength in the body, it was about strategy, timing, and knowing exactly when to act. As Vanessa's footsteps echoed faintly down the hallway, Ethan let out a barely audible breath, feeling the weight of control slowly returning to him. He could expose the deceit, safeguard Emma, and reclaim the life that had been stolen. The road ahead would require careful steps, courage, and resilience, but for the first time since the crash he felt unstoppable. The hospital room, once a cage, had become the arena where the game would turn, where betrayal would meet truth, and where a father's unwavering love would triumph. In the quiet of that night, Ethan Hale made a silent vow. No one would hurt his family again, and the storm he had survived was only the beginning of the justice to come.